everybody. Happy New Year. It is officially 2026, and it's now time for me to do the long-awaited part 2 of Voice Boys 2025 episodes. The second half had many, well, I mean, it's not as bad as the first half. The first half literally had one of my least favorite episodes in the entire series, but it's still really bad. But let's review them, and hopefully 2026 will be a much better year. Oh God, this episode is honestly really, really boring for me. I forget most of the stuff that happens in this episode. The only thing I can remember is how hypocritical Voice Boys' friends are. They're like, Voice Boys, because first off, they're laughing at Lois whenever Voice Boys made a comment about him, and then as soon as Lois starts crying to his mommy, they just turn their back on Voice Boys, saying, "Hey, Voice Boys, why did you say those hateful things?" Like, what is it with the show and being hypocritical? It's so bad. They don't even do it right. And also, this was the first episode I had weird thing, but this is the first episode I reacted to when I had my spaces in. So, yeah, weird fact, but it's still, yeah. I don't even think you can notice I had them in because this episode came out when my list got a little bit better, just started dying down. So, yeah, but let's stop talking about dental stuff and move on to the next episode. This might be super underwhelming, but I cannot remember a single thing that happens in this episode. Like, seriously, I remember absolutely freaking nothing. All I remember is that my fan base really hated this episode when it came out, and that's really all I could think about it. It's so boring. Okay, so I actually watched the episode, and now I understand why everybody in my fan base hated it when it came out. So Voice Boys is just doing things that he could have prevented, in quotations, even though he probably couldn't have. Like, Voice Boys didn't know, with animal crackers, he didn't know that they would fly all over the place in the scene with the book getting wet. He didn't know that he knew that his cap was on. How could he have prevented something he didn't know? Like, you're acting like he's a future, you're acting like he's an oracle that's just stupid and knew the future and just didn't seem to check. Like, why? Like, screw yourself. Like, it's like saying, oh, you could have prevented yourself from getting hit with a baseball at 250 miles per hour. Like, you couldn't have prevented that because you didn't know it was going to happen in the first place. Screw this episode and screw you, Lois and Maker. Oh, yeah, I forgot. Lois was horrible in this episode. Well, I mean, him and Maker were equally as bad, so yeah. Oh, I was so ready to review this episode. This episode is hated by literally everybody in the Lucky fandom, and it's for a good reason. Because this episode is basically just favor Lois galore. So it's basically, first off, you lack discipline. Discipline whenever I hear the word discipline, I think of getting in trouble. Discipline is a synonym of getting in trouble. So why does it mean having to push yourself to think come on, that's definitely not how people use the word. It's like the other meaning for pathetic, which is like something sad, which is probably the worst, is probably the worst, like, the same spelling, different meaning word, because it makes horrible sentences, but this isn't an ELA class. So Voice wants to play video games because Maker's not always on, because Maker is on and us apparently there, and for what we've seen with Mrs. Bedoys, we can obviously tell that it should be the other way around, where Maker is on the game a lot, and Voice is not, because you know how Voice's mom is. So, but then Voice's mom says, you need to practice your soccer drill, so Voice does exactly that. And he does, and he gets, and the ball hits his head. And this stays throughout the rest of the episode, which in my opinion is really bothering. Like, I don't want to see Voice have a big lump on his head for the entire duration of the episode. And then Voice is on the game, and he wants to play the video game forever and ever, and Lois says the same thing. Oh wait, I'm not talking about. Oh wait, that's my YTP version. Lois says that he doesn't want to play the video game for years because it'll bore him out, even though he isn't already bored and soul draining. And Voice eats cookies and said he could eat dozens and dozens and dozens of them. And I didn't know Voice doubled as Nicocado avocado. But and then he eats more, and then Lois tries to tell him to stop, but he just keeps eating. And Lois screams at him that he lacks discipline. And Voice's stomach hurts. And one of the most annoying parts of the episode plays. Lois does this. I hate when he does that. First, it's because Lois is always saying something annoying when doing that. And also, the sound just annoys me to death. Even though his voice is literally so annoying in the first place. And then Voice's mom comes and says that Voice needs to brush his teeth. And Voice doesn't want to, so he gets 10 minutes, blah, blah, blah. And then Mrs. Bedoys comes back, and Voice and her argue about staying up longer. And as soon as Voice finally agrees to brush his teeth, Mrs. Bedoys stops him in his tracks and say, "No, young man," or something like that. And which is already bad because he's going to brush his teeth. He's doing exactly what he told you. Don't tell him the moral. And then the part where everybody is the reason why everybody hates this episode because it's favoritism. So Lois says, "Ooh, someone's in big trouble." And if I was Mrs. Bedoys, I would have told Lois to shut up and keep it's an A and B conversation, that he could see his way out the door and go to a fire station where he should have been dropped off when he was a baby, but no, she does nothing about it. The way they just favor Lois, because he's apparently the goody two-shoes, when it's the other way around, and it's been the other way around since 2019. And then the moral gets taught, and then Voice is brushing it while he's brushing his teeth. Lois gets a package, and this is another reason why people hate this episode, because Lois keeps tempting Voice to open the package, even though he clearly doesn't want to. Yeah, Lois keeps pestering him about opening the package when he clearly doesn't want to. I'm pretty sure Lois is allergic to reading the room. Luckily, he doesn't open the package, and Lois is, well, let's just say he's in my basement. Help! Help! Oh yeah, BMO's also down there. Help! I'm gonna get turned into AI slop! Oh, well, maybe I should help him. Probably because I just don't like AI slop. Although this isn't my least favorite episode of the second half of 2025, as there is another episode I really despise. This still needs an honorable mention as the worst episode honorable mention of 2025. So I'm pretty sure this year is going to have 4 worst episodes, because Year the Problem, bedoys, is also an abysmal episode. I hate it with all my heart. But I'm going to have a segment about that later in the video, so yeah. This was the episode I was talking about for the worst episode honorable mention of this year. Actually, no, it's the worst episode in the second half of 2025. I hate this episode very disrespectfully. And here's why. It's basically Voice friends lying to win back Voice's friendshipness. So Voice wants to go. So Voice's friends go to check on Voice because they haven't heard from him in a while. Probably because Woohoo's Storytime is allergic to posting real episodes and only posts compilations now. But yeah, and they haven't. So they go check on him, and Lois says that they aren't his best friends anymore. And Voice walks in, and they talk to him and stuff. And Voice cusses, which he needs to do more often. Yes, this is a kids show, but swearing is cool. Even with me, I say cuss words all the time. I say hell a lot. I literally said hell, piss, and damn and all in separate videos. So yeah, swearing is cool. Hopefully no kids are watching this, and actually, if you're a kid watching it, no, it's not cool. I'm just exaggerating. And they're all jelly that Voice actually has friends that he likes. And then the next day they walked into him at the park because Voice just got finished playing with his friends. And he said he was messing around with little kids, which would have been more funny if we actually saw who they were. I would have loved that. Again, this is all just a joke. So yeah. And then they keep on blabbering about bedoys, you're hanging out with the wrong crowd. Even though they which is literally horrible because Voice's friends treat him horribly. Let's count. They say rude things to him. They call him a baby. And the list goes on. If I made a list of all the bad things Voice's friends did to bedoys, I would literally have a book long. It would literally be the longest book in the entire world. That's just how bad of friends they are. Voice was actually clearly happy with his new friends, and then the group just confronts him. And just make him stop being friends with the people that clearly made him happy. I'm going to do a little reenaction of this. I'm going to do a little retrospective on this episode. Hey, yay, I'm having so much fun with my new friends. Hey, bedoys, yay, you have new friends that clearly make you happy. Stop hanging out with them and hang out with us instead. Yeah, we call you baby. Yeah, we call you a baby and say also really, really mean things to you. But you should hang out with us instead because they do bad things. That's literally the whole point of that's literally the episode summed up. this episode sucks. It's just Voice's friend's manipulation. Thank you for coming to my rant, and I still have 3 episodes left, 4. Finally, an episode I don't have to put too much effort into talking about. So, yeah. This episode is basically this episode isn't really that good anyway. Basically, Voice's friends and him doing bad things and letting those things get him really mad and just be mad. So first, Wen skips him in line, which is already bad because Wen definitely knew that Voice was still in line and just took her turn anyway. Yeah, Voice shouldn't have gotten that mad, but Wen, he was clearly visible. You definitely had to have saw him. You probably heard him talking. So why did you take another turn, idiot? And then Voice gets ice cream and it falls on the ground. The title card probably already told you that because ruin ice cream, you already know. And then next, and this gets him so mad that he doesn't want to play the new game that came in. So yeah, that's basically the entire episode. Moving on. This one is less harder to talk about because I hardly even finished the episode. It's that boring. So first off, we got the first episode of last year's plot. Don't do that in school. Learn manners. I don't freaking know. Don't ask me this stuff. But yeah. So Voice learns that they have to practice math facts, which sucks because when you're finished with all your stuff, you should be able to play games or do something fun, not freaking math problems. Ew. And and he gets yelled at for not wanting to do it. Even though if I was a teacher, even though I might get fired, I wouldn't let us play games. It's the end of class. You already learned half the stuff you need to. Let's just play games. And then Voice is talking to Flora, and Flora doesn't know the question. There's another question, even though they're literally the same age. I'm pretty sure Voice is a month older than me. So, and yet Flora doesn't know freaking 5 plus 5, 6 plus 6, and 8 plus 8. I have a headcanon that Flora has to be an iPad kid because there's no way she doesn't know this stuff. It's so easy. Oh yeah, I'm being condescending, Voice, whatever. And then Voice goes to Voice's house with Hopper and Coda, which is weird because, out of all your friends, why them? They're the most uninteresting characters in the entire show. They're not even in the main group. But anyways, Voice keeps ringing the doorbell and he rings it for a long time once. And Mika gets annoyed by that. Are we serious? At this point, Mika will literally get annoyed at Voice saying hi to him or asking for a high five. That's basically what Chaperone does. But I'm not going to get into that. So, and then they go to the backyard, and then I'm pretty sure they do a jigsaw puzzle, and Voice messes it up. Finally, I'm done with this episode. We still have 2 more episodes to go. We did it. We got through the whole year. And this isn't a Christmas episode. Yeah, like 2022, we didn't get a Christmas episode this year. Even though this episode was 2 days before Christmas. Instead, and you know what they did like 2022? They gave us a spin-off episode. Why? This episode already sucks to begin with. I've never reacted to a Christmas episode ever. And I won't do that until next year because I already missed the chance to re-react to one. So I could have re-reacted to the 2024 one because I hardly knew anything about it. But it's now January, so there's literally no point in doing that at this point. So, yeah. But let's talk about the episode. So, and another thing that's so funny is the gap between this episode and Don't Be Condescending. These episodes were literally a whole month apart. I am not even kidding. A whole month apart. Which I find, which is so annoying, and you know, want to know why? They skipped multiple weeks because of these stupid, dumb playlists. What's the point of having these compilations if no one watches them and just watches the normal episode? The only reason I view these is just to see what episodes they have. And yeah, and it's all just boring slop. I don't, like... Okay, that's my end of the rant about that. But let's talk about the episode finally. So, Voice just... Whenever someone makes a mistake, Voice just corrects it, and that's it. And Voice is so brainwashed by the end that he literally stops himself from correcting Voice with his miscalculations with money. And also, why didn't you just keep the money? He's stupid. He wouldn't have known. If you didn't tell him, you could have kept $10 instead of freaking $1. Then you can't even split between 5 people. You can only give 25 cents to each guy. Even then, 25 cents is literally nothing. The only thing you can buy with that is a single York patty. I'm not even kidding. Like one single York patty. Yeah, that's exactly what I want to buy. One singular freaking York patty. I don't understand why I'm getting so mad at this episode when it's not even my least favorite episode. And it's not on my top 5 least favorite episodes of this year, which I'm going to talk about right now. Well, guys, we did it. We got through 2025. And now I'm going to count down the top 5 worst episodes of 2025. Just so I don't need to make a separate video about it. So at 5, in my opinion, we have Choose Your Friends Wisely. I don't really like this. I hate this episode because the friend group just expects Voice to be friends with them again, even though they treat him like garbage in multiple episodes, yet they still expect him to be his friend. It's just so stupid. And number 3, we have one you probably never expected from me, but it's the problem, Voice. Rewatching this episode, yes, Voice might have been... This is kind of like Don't Be Nosy Voice, where what Voice did is bad. Like, I can't blame people for yelling at him about it. But like the outcome, but what they do to Voice is just so cruel and mean-spirited. It makes me hate the episode. The entire scene where Voice's friends start ignoring him again just makes my blood boil so much that I just want to punch everybody there in the face at the hardest. Like I would train for a whole year just to punch all of them in the face. In second place, we have the B episode. this one is self-explanatory because it's disgusting. Like, why do we have to teach how bees make honey in a kid's show? Like, it's just so disgusting. It's so disgusting that, like, I watched my reaction multiple times. I don't know why, I just did, but, like, it's just so disgusting and unnecessary. And the worst episode of 2025 has to be Don't Be Toxic, Voice Bedoys. This episode is just so mean-spirited, especially because Voice Bedoys just wants to share his opinions. And yeah, he could be mean, but they could have stopped talking to him in a much nicer, unmean-spirited way. Like, they treat him like absolute garbage when them saying that we're just not talking to you or something like that really got the point across. But they just hate on him for no reason, and it's just annoying. I hate this episode so much. I hate it. And I'm probably going to make a special if I hit a certain amount of subscribers. I'm going to do a reaction to any of the bad episodes. So yeah, here's some things, and yeah, that's just one thing I'm going to do. But I'm going to take a hiatus from anything that's voice related that isn't a reaction. I'm still going to be doing reactions, but I'm going to be taking a hiatus from everything that's not a reaction, because I want to work on this object show about country. That's basically a BFDI related show, but with countries. I thought it could be a good idea, and I'm going to be making all of the episodes at a time because I don't really like making and I'm going to release them every single week because it's better to get them all done than slowly have to be painful along the way. So I hope you understand about this little tiny hiatus. I want to call hiatus because I still would be posting stuff about BMO and some reactions because those don't take long. But retrospectives and any big projects I won't be working on. So I hope you all understand, and I hope you all enjoyed the video. Next stop on Voice Bedoys Reactions is 2024. But this wouldn't come out for a long time because of the reasons I just said.